Hello, welcome. My name is Kata. I am an energy healer and an intuitive, and I am here to share messages of transformation. I'm here to also talk about the process of spiritual evolution and how that kind of happens. It's a process that I've been going through myself pretty intensely over the last 5 years. It has definitely intensified more so in 2021. And even in 2020, actually, the last 2 years, I'm going to say were probably like a highlight of this emotional and spiritual transformation for me. So I wanted to share a couple of things about what I've experienced so far. And I want to share these because I know that so many of us right now are going through a process of ascension and a process of awakening. And as we do so, it's very difficult to navigate that when you don't understand what's going on with you, when you don't really know what the process is and sort of what to expect, and like if you don't understand that there's like stages to it. So I just want to shed some light on that because as I'm going through this process myself, I'm fully experiencing what it actually means to awaken. And it's not easy. Awakening is not an easy thing. It is something that does happen naturally, though, I'm finding. So, and I 100% believe that a lot of the astrological alignments are really helping us in this process. So I do feel that everything that is happening in the cosmos is 100% influencing us on an individual level and a collective level, of course. So my process of ascension in the last couple of years have been really about a lot of changes in my life, but they were changes that were, it's like changes that weren't changes, if that makes any sense. So it was like more of, I changed by doing some of the same things that I've previously done, but I've changed because I recognized that those things that I previously did and repeated over and over were actually patterns. So when you begin to awaken, you're going to start to see that you have major patterns. That was a massive one for me. Like I identified several patterns that I had, especially in relationships. And I'm talking relationships not on necessarily just a romantic level, but relationships with my family, with friends, with the community, with just people in general. And a big takeaway for me as I'm going through ascension and awakening is that the relationships that we have with others are 100% solely based on like who you are in a given moment. So if I'm someone who is, somebody that experienced a lot of trauma or went through a lot of difficulties in their life, and so therefore I carry all of this baggage with me, I'm bringing that baggage into every single relationship that I encounter, literally every single one, because I'm responding from those moments. I'm responding from that past trauma, from that victim mode, right? Or from that scarcity mindset. I am approaching all of life with those glasses, right? It's like the way I kind of see it is that we all have glasses on. Now, my glasses, my filters, are going to be different than yours because my glasses are basically fully customized to my experience so far here on Earth, where your glasses are fully customized to what you have experienced so far here on Earth. And this is why so many people in relationships don't see eye to eye, because we try to, because we want to be understood, I think we try to get others to see through our glasses. And sometimes people can do that and sometimes they can't, right? If they've come from completely different walks of life, it could be very difficult to see somebody's perspective, right? So, but how we view everything from money to people to relationships to yourself and everything in between is solely based on these glasses. Now, the glasses really are just a representation of your experience. So my glasses, I know, have a certain filter on, and I see the world through a certain lens. And my lens is, I have experienced a lot of trauma. I have gone through a lot of shit in my life. And all of those things they've made me resilient and strong, but there was also like an underlying shadow part to all of those experiences. And that shadow is what was often projected outward from me, because that's just the experience that I was coming from. So victim mentality and like scarcity mentality and like powerlessness mentality, like all of these things were things that I was bringing forth into my daily experiences and interactions, completely subconsciously, not even being fully aware that I was doing that. But as I'm going through this awakening process and I'm beginning to see and understand myself a whole lot more, and from a very different, much deeper perspective, like, boy, did my glasses change. Like, wow, how much your outlook and your perspective shifts once you shift internally is mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. So I can now look out into the world and really see things with so much more clarity and with so much more understanding, because I'm coming from a much more healed place. And when I talk about healing to people, I always explain to them, healing is not something that happens overnight, and it's not something that is going to, necessarily be one moment in your life. Sometimes, yes, but I find those are kind of rare and extreme cases. In most cases, the average person will have to go through a whole bunch of stuff and will have to have a whole bunch of experiences in order to have an awakening, in order to have like a big shift in terms of their perception and how they see themselves and see the world and interact with it. So when I look at people that have gone through trauma versus people that haven't, and then you see the difference of what their views are, you can see how much those views are reflected in their life. It's mirrored in their life. And it's mirrored because your internal world is constantly creating your external world, right? And this is a big piece of the awakening process that I've come to understand. And it's like I always knew this, but now I don't just know it. This isn't just knowledge that is in my head. I am now embodying this knowing. So it's like a deep knowing that I've integrated into my soul and into my physical body. And it's so cool because I can see how different I respond to things based on this new integration, on this new understanding, and having this shift in perception. So anything that is not working in your life at this point is purely just a reflection of your internal world, of your beliefs, of what you think about yourself and what you think about the world outside of you. So when we take the time to work on ourselves and go within and analyze our internal world and actually understand it, because ultimately that's what we need to do. I find most people have a complete identity crisis. They have no clue who they are. As a matter of fact, most of us have a complete identity crisis, and we have no clue who we are because we have roles that we play, and then we start to believe and think that we are those roles. But in fact, not at all, because when you strip those roles away, then who are you? What's the essence of you, and what's left, right? If there's no role, if there's no title, if there's no anything, then who are you? And that is what I am discovering. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, so that you could maybe perhaps have awareness that you haven't looked deep enough, right? Because I know I didn't look deep enough within myself for a long time. And I was actually really afraid to look deep within myself because it was scary. I didn't really quite know what I was going to find in there. And it was so daunting. I felt like I just didn't know myself. I didn't even know who I was truly. And I still don't truly and fully know and understand who I am. I still don't. To a certain degree, yes. But it's to the degree of wherever my consciousness is at in this moment. And it's not beyond that. So wherever you are in this moment is basically the culmination of who you think you are. But think about that. If there's no title, if I'm not a lawyer, if I'm not a doctor, if I'm not a mom, if I'm not a dad or an aunt or an uncle or a whatever, then what am I? What am I just being me? And who am I if I am fully showing up authentically? Because I realized that authenticity is the absolute key to experiencing the type of life that we want. And we all crave, I know this because I know I crave it, and I know a lot of people crave it, but we all crave a life that is real, and a life that is authentic, and a life that is true to you as an individual. You crave that. I crave that for myself. And the reason why we crave that is because that's what feels good. That's what feels natural, because that's who we truly are. We are a bunch of souls, soul searching, trying to find ourselves. We come here and we try to figure out who we are, and how can I show up, or who can I show up as? That whole concept that I heard, many years ago, and I've read about it in multiple books, about how we all of our lives is essentially like a movie, and you're the main character in your life. And then you assign character roles to the people in your life. This is this person in my life, and that's that person in my life, right? We assign those roles, but you're the main character, and you're also the script writer, and you're also the director, the producer, and all of it. So if that's who we are in our own lives, then you got to ask yourself, what the fuck am I producing? What kind of movie am I making here? What am I doing? And is that serving me? Do I like the movie that I'm in? Or does it suck? Is it kind of turning into a horror show? Do I need to re-script? Do I need to rewrite it? Do I need to cast some new characters? It's like, these are all things that we need to think about, because we don't look at life that way. We look at it so linear, and we look at it so, I don't know, like it's like we put everything in boxes, and we categorize everything, and we make everything so separate from each other. And it's not. Everything in my external environment that I'm experiencing comes from within myself. If I think I'm a loser, then I'm a loser, and I'm going to act like one, and I'm going to live like one. But if I think I'm fucking awesome, and I think I'm powerful, and I think I have my own personal power, and I think I have the ability to do great things in life, then that's what I'm going to do, because that is what I believe about myself. So I think we need to reevaluate, what do we believe about ourselves? Who do we think we are versus who we are actually? And who would I be if I didn't have to always be politically correct and show up like that in the world, because that is what is expected of me? I'm at the stage of my life, and I think I'm at the stage of my awakening, where I really can truly embrace not giving a flying fuck about what people think. And that is liberating beyond words. Beyond words. Because for the first time in my life, I feel like I can be myself unapologetically, and I can just show up in whatever way I want. And yes, I can be spiritual and say fuck at the same time. Because that's not what makes me a bad person. It's not saying bad words. Or words that we deem bad. It's more about showing up as you are. And not wearing a mask. Because I find the more that I show up for people without a mask, and the more that I'm just putting forth the true authentic version of myself, the more I seem to be receiving that back from other people. And I think that's pretty cool. Because that's the kind of people I want to surround myself with. Those are the kind of people I want to have in my life. People that are going to show up and say, no, that dress looks like shit on you, actually. I want honesty. I want raw. I want real. And I think for us to accomplish that, and every single individual on this planet needs to do that. And I think eventually, and I think every person actually strives to do that. They want to be authentic and real. They're just afraid to. They don't know how. Because they're afraid that if I'm authentic and real, and if I truly show up the way I'm supposed to show up, then I will be shunned for it. And, maybe people in my community won't like me for it. And maybe I'll be judged. But that's okay. I'm really seeing how somebody else's judgment is just simply coming from their glasses. They're wearing different glasses than I am. So I'm totally cool with that. You want to judge me for saying fuck? Judge me. Go nuts. That says everything about you and nothing about me. You can think whatever you want. right? It's like, can we just start living like that? Can we just start being fucking real? Like, for real, real, you know, and really show up in the world like, this is who I am. And that's okay if you don't like it. You don't have to. You don't have to vibe with this video. To be honest, I don't care. So I'm going to invite you to be authentic. And I'm going to invite you to show up as you are. And just see what happens. And it's definitely a practice game. This is something you're going to have to practice. It's not going to come overnight, and it's not going to be that easy. Because initially you might feel like, whoa, this is so not me. Or, whoa, I'm just so not used to being me. In the beginning. But the more you do it and the more you practice it, the easier it's going to get. And the more you show up authentically, the more you're going to want to show up authentically, because it's going to feel good. Like, really good. So the next time somebody asks you something, and the first feeling that you get is a no, then say it. And honor it. That is going to be like your little authenticity test to see if you can show up for yourself. And when you do, I assure you that you will be rewarded. But those rewards are small. Don't expect gifts. Don't expect anything like that. The reward is a sense of peace within yourself. Like, fuck yeah, I just had my own back. That kind of a feeling. So ask yourself today, do I want to keep wearing a mask and hiding my true self from the world? Or am I willing to just step up and step into who I am and who I can be? And it doesn't matter that it's hard. I'm just going to keep doing it every day, little by little, day by day. And eventually it will accumulate into being the most authentic, badass version of yourself that you could be. And you know what? People are going to look up to you for it. Because ultimately, deep down, that's what everybody wants. They want to show up authentically. So here I am, leading the way. So I hope you found this helpful, and process, think about it. Take care, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.